Citizens' concerns. I know we got a full house. We're not gonna sit here until 10 o'clock tonight. I will entertain a few of you if you'd like to go and stand up, say your name and your address. Ma'am?
I wanted to be real simple and clear, so I
Your name?
wrote it out. And
Name?
I'm Pat Davis. I live on Morton Road.
Okay.
I was a proponent of sand mines until about a year ago because I've lived in this area for my entire life. And I saw the Badger mine as a positive influence. And it has helped, you know, the people around Taylor. There's lots of good jobs. Well, about a year ago, my sister, who lives in Chippewa, said, you need to come up here and you need to start looking around at what's happening in our area where all these new sand mines are coming in. They're not Badger Mine. They're not a family-owned company. They're not responsible, and they don't really give us the opportunity to feel like we have control over our townships. And so I did go up there, and I realized that there were a lot of negative effects that they were living with. There was continuous truck traffic, sand and air pollution. Some of their roads were almost impassable by cars at certain points of the year. And obviously they try to go after them to fix them up, but that doesn't make it nice and pleasant when the roads aren't repaired. There's light pollution at night. There's noise pollution, water pollution concerns, and ever continuous expansion by these mines. Some went from 100 acres to 550 acres. Some went from 300 acres, and now they're trying to get approval for 1,700 acres. And that's quite a big difference from when they got their foot in the door. And these people and the residents feel like they don't have any power to, they lack the power of, you know, say over this situation. Well, I found out that she was right, and most of them are not like Badger Mine. And many of them are simply owned by investor groups. And last night we were told that these people were like our neighbors. They're not our neighbors, they're investors. Investors buy properties, they go in, they exploit whatever it is they went there to invest in, they take the profits. And some of those mines are owned by big companies like the company, I think it's called EOG. I might not have the letters correctly, but that was formerly Enron. And in Chippewa Falls, there's a mine that's very large that's owned by them. And they're just driven by profit. And after they're established in that area, the profit is their sole purpose, because they have to answer to their investors. Well, the investors of Cooley Frac Sand gave us a really good presentation last night on very high on specifics of reclamation, but very vague on specifics of day-to-day operation, as you two mentioned, and future plans for these investors that they might have in mind. And I did ask them if they had offers to purchase. The point wasn't to find out who was going to benefit from this. The point was, are they planning to expand, which they did not mention in their presentation. And they answered no. But I knew that there were the three people in this township that were already planning to sell if this could get through to those investors. So I knew that he wasn't answering honestly. When I confronted him after the meeting, he said, I did answer your question. We didn't offer it to them. They approached us. So that wasn't the point. The point was, are you planning to expand? And he tried not to let us know that last night. Also, they wanted us to believe that they were not investors. They were just our neighbors. But they really don't have any skin in the game of life in the town of Franklin. We were told that they were not going to process sand here. They are not going to have buildings, no well, no water ponds. However, they have purchased the property, and my husband has been in industrial manufacturing for years. And he said, he said, please, he couldn't be here, so he said, please mention that they have purchased a property that has heavy industrial power lines running through it or near it. And that is not an accident to investors. This was done so they could assure that they could, or whomever they might sell this operation to, could expand to the neighborhood properties, and then they would have the land and the power that it was necessary to put in processing, buildings, and lighting. You don't need heavy industrial power to run diesel-powered end loaders and dirt-moving equipment that they would be using for a simple dig and haul operation that they claim to be.
I'm gonna cut you short because we do have a lot of people here.
Okay, well, I have one my husband is not here, and he asked me to please
Make it quick.
my husband who's out of town asked me to ask all of you to be very concerned, not about being able to cash in and retire by selling to these investors, but to be concerned about the quality of our water. This sand is the filter for our water system, and to be concerned about the quality of our life here in Franklin. We all moved here so we could enjoy this slow-moving, very quiet, peaceful life. And lastly, in this venture, only some will win, and some of us will lose. And in a small township of neighbors, it is not right that the winners ask the rest of us to lose.
Very good. Thank you.
It's up to the town board. If you guys wanna, you don't have to allow any public comment. If you wanna allow public comment, you can put it however you want.
Okay.
So,
Would you like to respond to that real quickly, or?
I'd like to.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, thanks for your comments. I talked with this lady yesterday, and I know that the subject of mining is very emotional and controversial, and I do respect that. I know that we have differences of opinion, and I know a lot of people have differences of opinion about mining and property rights. But I want to be careful, and we yesterday made a presentation, and to the best of our ability, we're not professional speakers. We are business people. That is true. We tried to be as honest as we could with the group yesterday. I will say that while trying to answer all the questions, I counted up, it was over 50 questions that we answered. And we hope that we answered all the questions as clearly as we possibly could. And we did give the offer, if someone's question wasn't answered, they could come up and talk to us after. But you know, the meeting went 2 hours as it was. We tried to do the best we could. And saying that, there are a couple of items that I can't refute because those are your opinion, and I respect that. Now, with regards to our 131 acres, that's our plan for right now. That is our plan. It's our only plan. Now, we have talked to neighbors, just like people who are for have talked to neighbors, people who are against have talked to neighbors. It just so happens that there are a lot of people in this community that are interested in the resource that's on their property. Whether we like that or not, they have come to us, and that's the point that we were making. We are not soliciting these people, but this is a tight community, that obviously, because there's about 200 people here. Everybody's in the know. And so as we've been doing our drilling and testing, we've had numerous people come to our property. While we're doing the drilling, they bring buckets of sand, asking us, is my sand good? Now, that's a big difference between us going to them and asking them if we want to buy their property, and them asking us if their resource is valuable. And that's really what's happening. We are concerned with our small operation. That's all we've ever been concerned with at this point. And I cannot speak for the many numerous other property owners that are interested in the resource that is on their property. And what they do with their property is what they do with their property. It has nothing to do with what we are proposing to do with our property. Now, there are two properties that are right in our area, and I know you had concern about that. Now, yesterday I did feel cornered. I felt like the question that was asked, have you made offers to other property owners? And the answer to that is no, we have not made propositions. However, Connie and Bus and Wayne and Audrey. They're the next door neighbors. They've been over to watch us what we're doing. They have about 15 or so acres, and obviously our property engulfs their property. We have, in a mutual way, had discussions with them. We would love to help them out. I think they're interested in us helping them out. But that is none of your people's business. That's their private property, and that's our private property. But if it has to be made public, we have been in discussions with them because it's the right thing to do. We don't want to be a bad neighbor. They're going to be right next to an operation. If they choose to sell their property and we choose to buy it, then we have an agreement. And we haven't made any propositions or any offers to any other landowners anywhere. But those two, it seemed to make sense, and that's where any land propositions are at. And that's all I can say with regards to that. I don't want misunderstanding. We're not trying to hide anything, but there is confidentiality. If you are selling your property to someone else, it's not the town business. But in this case, we want to do the right thing, and that's where it stands. Thank you.